Hello, my friends. Amber keeps going live and keeps doubling down. And the weird thing is, she is so detached from reality, but also detached from nuance. And she's so childish that I think in her mind, there are two sides to basically everything. But in this situation, there are two sides, and one person is all good and all right. The other person is all bad and all wrong. And she is desperately trying to convince everybody that she is the all good one. You know, if she admits she did something wrong, then in her mind, I think she is then saying that Emily did nothing wrong. You know, if she's like, oh, I made a mistake, I overreacted, I was physical with Emily, then she's also just saying Emily's perfect. Because she's so simple-minded and she has such black and white thinking that she doesn't understand that we know that Emily's not great either. We just want her to admit that she also did something wrong, and maybe admit that what she did was worse than what Emily did. Not only can she not admit she did anything wrong, she can't help herself but to try to convince us that she didn't do anything wrong, right? If she would just shut up, then it wouldn't necessarily go away, but it wouldn't continue to make her look worse and worse and worse. She is not helping herself, and she doesn't understand that. She thinks she is defending herself, but she's just making it worse. And I am gonna go back and cover parts of some of her previous lives because she said some crazy stuff in that too, but I had to talk about this one, and this is why.
I am the fucking victim in this. This time I am, you guys. I'm sorry to fucking break it to you. This time I fucking am.
Yeah. So hang on. Are you saying that you weren't before? Because you sure acted like you were in every scenario that's ever happened to you ever. So let me know exactly when you weren't the victim. I would love to know, Amberlynn, when you think you weren't the victim or the one in the wrong. Because so far, anytime anybody said anything about you or the way you've treated them, you have played the victim. So this time, Schmiss time, you are convinced that you're the victim in every situation. So let's just see what Amber has to say about everything. If you'd like to like and subscribe, that would literally be hectic. I'm not gonna lie.
And like I made videos just sticking up for her regarding so many different things when it's like some of it, like I literally was just doing it to protect her.
Okay, when she says she defended Emily about so many different things, it was one thing. Emily was known as a feeder, and Amber would just say, no, she's not. When she says, I did it to protect her, bullshit. She did it because she didn't like people talking about them like that. It was embarrassing. And Amber didn't want to be involved in a fetish. She didn't want to be known as somebody who's involved in a fetish. So, of course, she was lying to protect herself, to protect what she thought was her image or her reputation. It made her feel icky to think that people thought that she was a feedee. Whether it was true or not, she doesn't care. The truth doesn't matter. The only thing that matters to her is the image that she is trying to portray.
And never once did she ever defend me. Even knowing that some of the things that she was saying about me was a lie. It's just all around like shitty.
What was Emily saying that was a lie? Because maybe I missed something, but all I really know about as far as Emily saying things about Amber online were just kind of mean things like Amber's fat and stupid and stuff like that. And Amber can say that those things are a lie, but those are more just opinions and descriptors really at this point. But I don't know, maybe Emily like started rumors about Amber or said some stuff about Amber that could be considered a lie. But like I said, most of what I understand that Emily did was just like call her Porcahonis and stuff like that. So is that a lie? I mean, no.
her going public, especially while we were in a relationship, like just talking shit about me, and her thinking that's okay, and me never defending myself ever publicly, ever. I just let her do it. It was so embarrassing, but I just let her do it.
Well, then why did you stay with her? This is after Wisconsin, right? This is when they are physically separated. But at the same time, like, yeah, it sucks that Emily was saying mean stuff about her, but she is completely leaving out anything she did. I mean, she's really wanting to paint Emily as this person that just wakes up and says, I'm just going to be mean today for no reason. And Amber is like, oh my gosh, I wish she wouldn't do that. I'm just so nice and kind, and I don't deserve this. I would love to know what you're doing to cause this, which actually makes something else make a lot more sense. So from the first batch of Rachel's texts, there was a part about Jade where Amber was like, you said that I deserved what Jade did to me, basically. And Emily was like, no, I just asked what happened to lead up to what Jade supposedly did, right? So Emily, knowing what Amber is capable of, knowing how Amber acts, and knowing how infuriating she must be, when Amber tells her the story of Jade supposedly getting physical with her, Emily's first thought is, yeah, but what led up to that? Because Emily knows that it was likely Amber causing it. But Amber takes that as, you are saying I deserve it, which I'm not saying anybody deserves to be hit or anything, right? So if that actually happened, then Jade is sort of in the same position as Amber, where it's still not right. Even if Amber was goading her on, it's not okay to get physical, but I still don't think it happened. And, you know, when the texts first came out, I kind of went over why I don't think it happened. But anyway, the point is, Emily clearly understands that Amber pushes and pushes and pushes until her partner just can't take it anymore and snaps. Because that's clearly what happened to Emily. And did Emily handle it right? No. What Emily should have done was said, I'm done with this, go home. The name calling and stuff like that is childish, but it's not the same as being physical.
Like, she would say awful things about me. All of these things that, like, all of the rumors that people have found out about, and like reaction channels thinking they can like one up me, thinking I didn't know how they found out. I knew the whole time that Emily was the beginning source.
Well, yeah, obviously. Who else would be the beginning source? Like, I never talked to Emily, right? I knew about Romeo because somebody else had talked to Emily and then talked to me. And I love how she thinks she's Detective Lynn by saying, I know Emily was the beginning source. Yeah, as opposed to like the frog in her pocket. Like, who else would know what's going on between you guys?
Like, you didn't lie for her, you lied for yourself. No, sis. No, sis.
Yes. 100%. Again, because she was embarrassed.
It was just like, she dragged you down so hard. Yeah, and like so many people, like when I was in Wisconsin, like even Zachary Michael is someone who literally repeated over and over, I seemed miserable. Something seemed off. I seemed depressed. Why do you think that is?
And I'm sure she was miserable too. You were both miserable, but just because you were miserable doesn't mean that you did nothing wrong.
You can't look at screenshots of someone who like genuinely, I would cower down to her. I genuinely would cower down to her. I would apologize for things that I didn't even do. And it genuinely scared me sometimes, like.
No, she would apologize for things that she didn't think were wrong. So when Emily calls her out, Amber's like, fine, whatever, I'm sorry. And then she says this, I apologize for things I didn't do. No, it's not that she didn't do them. It's that she doesn't think that what she did was wrong. Because while I think she knows right from wrong, I don't think she cares about right and wrong. All she cares about is getting whatever she wants in the moment.
Remember how I told you guys that, you know, you get to choose between these things. You get to choose fight, flight, freeze, or fawn.
That's not how it works. You don't get to choose. The whole point of fight or flight is that it is an innate reaction. It is something that your body just does without you thinking about it. That's like literally the only thing about them is that you don't have a choice over what you do.
And I recently told you guys, like, fawning has been like my thing that I've been doing a lot, and it's because of her. Eventually, I just started to agree to everything, even if like none of it made sense.
And honestly, I think that's probably true. And I think it's because she finally, after all these years, she finally had someone that just wouldn't put up with her shit and held her accountable for her decisions and her behavior. And she had no idea how to handle that. And so she would fawn, meaning she just would say, okay, I'm sorry, because she couldn't lie or manipulate her way out of it. And so she calls it fawning, but really it's just her like getting in trouble or having to apologize or maybe even compromising. But you know, Amber doesn't do that.
When I had my crash out months ago, when it really ended, I admitted in the live stream the way that she treated me, like, made me crazy. Like, I would yell because I was so, like, I did not recognize myself. My mom did not recognize me. Like,
I can admit that, you guys. I can admit that Emily's at fault for everything. But that's exactly what she did in the Crash Out lives from before. The Crash Out session 1, she admitted that whatever happened between them was all Emily's fault. And I made a post on my YouTube channel that said, if Emily said something to Amber that upset her, and as a result, Amber went and set a house on fire, Amber would write in her journal, today, a house burned down because of Emily. Whatever she does while she's upset is ultimately the responsibility of the person that made her upset. And if we didn't know Amber, if she was just some random person and she got online and said, look at what this person is saying to me, we might think, wow, Emily's terrible, because that's not a response that you should have, regardless of what your partner is saying to you or doing or whatever. But Amber has a history and several partners that have come out and said that she makes their life a living hell. She makes them miserable. She tortures them constantly, and then they snap.
someone said you have a crash out every 2 business days. This isn't a crash out. This is someone who is publicly going through, like, a really tough time. Like, really tough. And,
Yeah, she said it's not a crash out. It's just someone who is going through a really tough time publicly, like a really tough time. Like, what's happening here is you're being exposed for who you truly are. And you can't lie your way out of it. You can't manipulate your audience like you usually do, because now we have proof. Before, it was mostly just she said, she said. And most of us were able to come to the conclusion that you sucked and you're a monster. But now we have proof. We've seen the texts. And we've given you an opportunity to give your side of the story and give proof that maybe Emily is just as bad or worse than you are, as you claim. But your proof made you look worse because you showed all the one-sided conversations that didn't make sense because there was clearly context missing. Because all of the texts that you showed from Emily are her responding to something that you have said that we don't see.
I don't know. Like, I'm not crashing out. Like, I'm just human. That's really all it is.
I mean, debatable at this point. Listen, I don't believe in supernatural things. I've never believed in demons. But I mean, this is getting pretty close to making me believe in demons. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not sure she's a human at this point.
I don't have to get off because I don't care about showing the side of me. Like, this is what I'm going through. I don't cry when I'm off alive, so that feels good. It's just once I get on here, I know the people watching me, I know what they're thinking, and you guys are thinking about Emily.
Most of the people in her lives are thinking about Rarity. In fact, most people in Girl World right now, Rarity is about all we're thinking of. Because we really want to know what happened to Rarity. Because as Rachel said, Rarity is the real victim here. Like, Emily sucks, Amber sucks even more, and Rarity was an innocent soul that suffered the consequences of simply existing in these two people's lives.
Rachel is acting as if she was in the relationship. She's acting as if she was there. And she's speaking with such confidence. I saw tiny clips finally when I was watching Elizabeth's react to it. And I'm telling you, it was maybe 3 minutes and it made my stomach physically hurt.
Well, Rachel doesn't have to pretend like she was there. There are texts there. And again, if you have proof that there's something out of context or some sort of information that we're missing, by all means, take a few minutes and show us. But that's the problem, right? All she can do is say, you guys don't understand. Rachel wasn't there. You weren't there. So you don't know what really happened. Well, we can see the texts. And it's pretty cut and dry who really was worse in the relationship.
Like, I genuinely could not continue watching it because it was just awful. And I'm just like...
And it's always going to be vague like that, right? It was awful. My stomach was hurting because it was awful. What was awful? Explain to us what was wrong. What did Rachel miss? What information is missing that would absolve you of your transgressions?
How can people act like they were there and that they know what happened if you weren't there? And it's like, the part that I saw was the part with the fucking photos of Emily's arm.
And I love how she says, I watched a couple minutes of it, and she watched it through Elizabeth's reaction. Like, okay, we know she watches reaction channels. We know she watches me and Jordy, which I'm flattered to be in such great company. But Rachel did an exceptional job getting all the times together, all the texts, all laid out very cleanly and neatly so that we could see that it was real obvious that Amber was lying about those pictures. And Amber knew she was lying because she covered up the date. So the fact that she has the audacity to come out here and talk about how stupid and horrible the arm photo part of Rachel's video was, like, that was the most convincing part of the whole video, really.
Emily deleted. Like, you can see where she deleted. She deleted proof that she literally grabbed her own arm to make those nail marks.
And while Emily did delete a couple of the messages, Rachel went to painstaking lengths to kind of explain and show that she got two different versions of the same messages. And one of the versions included the deleted messages, which were the pictures of the arm. But even if that's not the case, right? Even if those messages were deleted and we didn't know what they were, which we do because they were the arm photos. That's what was deleted. But what exactly would Emily have sent that would prove that she did it herself? Unless she sent a picture of her doing it herself, I'm not sure what Amber thinks would prove that she did it herself. Because the lie that Amber told was that it was 2 different days. Was that she sent one picture one day and then the picture with the nail marks a few days later. And that was a flat out lie. Those photos were sent back to back on that same day. So no matter what they were, they wouldn't have proven that Emily did it herself. But we also know what they were. We saw the pictures.
And I remember when I was explaining to you guys, like, it was a different day, is because when I was with Emily, I would fall asleep around 6 a.m. and I would wake up around, I don't know, noon to like 3. p.m. It just depended, right? So
Back then, but not now. Okay.
to me, once I fell asleep and woke up, to me, it was like the next day.
She didn't say it was from the next day. She didn't say that, like, when I woke up the next day, the message was there. Listen.
This is crazy. This is from a few days later. Keep that in mind. In this photo, you're going to see these weird marks that she created herself.
So yeah, she said it was from a few days later. And this is what liars do. They can't keep their story straight.
To me, once I fell asleep and woke up, to me, it was like the next day. And it's like, Rachel not being able to like genuinely look at the gray area is terrifying to me.
Yeah, it's terrifying. No, it's you being held accountable. And I mean, I guess that could be terrifying to her, but it throws her into a tizzy. She doesn't know how to handle it. And Rachel looks at the gray area. She will not commit to saying that anything happened until she sees some kind of proof or some kind of evidence. Rachel always just goes where the evidence takes her.
Emily deleted proof that she lied. Literally deleted proof.
Well, and she can say that because in her mind, she sees these deleted message little snippets. And so she's like, I'll use that. I'll use that to say that Emily deleted it. But what proof would it be? They were sent on the same day. What proof could it be? Again, other than just a picture of her doing it herself, or if one of the messages said, by the way, I made these marks myself, I'm not sure what Amber thinks that kind of proof would be.
Like you can see where it says Emily deleted it.
I wasn't showing the chat because for whatever reason, she didn't put it in members only mode. So it was just too chaotic in there.
I was Amberlynn covering the time. I wasn't covering the time. I was covering Emily's Facebook username because Emily made it some weird username so people wouldn't find her. So.
No, she would have said that if that was the case. She's always pointing out when she's doing something altruistic or doing something to help somebody else. She will tell you.
When the whole thing happened, Emily left. She got in her truck. She ended up sending me a picture of her arm saying, look at what you did. There was nothing there. And she was wearing a maroon shirt. There was nothing there. And that was early in the morning, like early in the morning. Then it was, she went to work, blah, blah, blah. Then it was the next night, which was technically calendar the same day on the calendar. But
again, okay, so she's going to go through the whole spiel again with her new version of the story, that it's the same day, but kind of still the next day because she slept during that day. So it's to her the next day, you know? You can't blame me for thinking it was a different day. But that's, again, not what she said in the live stream where she lied about the arm pictures. She was saying it was from a few days later. And that live stream is the important part. So she's trying to retcon what she said in that live stream, but that's not going to happen. Nobody's going to let her.
See, it's even hard for me to do it, and I'm pressing down as hard as possible. I don't have nails. I bite my nails. If you go back and you watch Snowflake's video, when Emily was sending Snowflake all of those random messages, she said that I drew blood, that I made her bleed, that I this and that. Nail marks can take time to appear. No. We're talking actual indented nail marks. Is not going to take 14 hours to appear. Like, I can't even make, I barely.
Okay. She just said she doesn't have nails. Okay. Now, first of all, she said, I can't make them appear. I'm doing it as hard as possible. Bullshit. That is not as hard as possible. That is not as hard as you would grab someone in anger when you're not feeling it. You're going to stop when it hurts, but you're not going to stop when it hurts someone else. And this right here, these nail marks that you just made on your own arm prove that you have nails. God, Jesus Christ. She doesn't listen to herself speak. She just said, I don't have nails. I can't make nail marks. And then she shows us her nail marks to prove that they don't, take 14 hours to appear. And yeah, these nail marks, like the superficial, Like indentions from a soft grab don't take 14 hours to appear, but you know what would take 14 hours to appear? Bruises from grabbing far harder than what you just did. For her own good, she needs to just shut up. But for our purposes, just keep it coming, girl.
I was on the phone with my mom when that happened, and that's the only reason why I had those screenshots. Because I was freaking out. I was like, "Mom, you'll genuinely never believe she's faking like a."
So I don't know about you, but I would never grab somebody in anger hard enough to leave marks. But let's just say there was some sort of accident or something happened where I accidentally grabbed somebody hard enough to leave marks. And they sent me a picture showing the marks that I left. My first reaction would be, I am so sorry. I didn't realize I grabbed you that hard. I feel terrible. Especially if it was my partner. But Amber's first reaction to getting that picture is to say, you're faking it. Now, that is proof, I would say, of her guilty conscience, of her realizing what she did was wrong and trying to lay the blame on someone else because she doesn't want to take the blame. And then telling her mom about it was simply to get her mom on her side, to sort of help her out because she was feeling pretty alone, I would imagine. Because again, Emily is not taking her shit and she's holding her accountable.
And then I go back and I start looking at text messages. This was today, because this has just been a lot. While I was with her, I constantly felt so insane to the point of I am questioning my reality, into my soul. I am questioning my reality.
Yeah, I bet you are, because your reality has never included accountability. So when somebody holds you accountable and won't let you get away with it, I imagine you would be questioning your reality. What is life? What is this? How am I not able to manipulate this person? This is a person who has been able to manipulate, lie, bully her way through life. And when that doesn't work, this is what happens.
And I look back now and I'm like, this is now making sense. Because a lot of people have also pointed this out to me. It's almost as if she was trying to paint a story because she knew she was going to go to reaction channels. That was actually something that she would constantly threaten. She would do all of these things, lie to me, betray me, hurt me, call me the most awful names I've.
No, actually, Emily had to be convinced to share this information and had to be convinced that it is really important to let the world know what kind of person Amberlynn is. I mean, to a lot of us, this is entertainment, and I get that. But when somebody is allowed to go unchecked acting the way Amberlynn does, it can affect a lot of people. She's leaving a trail of victims in her wake, and Emily needed to be convinced that sharing her experience could help with that. And it will, hopefully. Somebody who might have gotten involved with Amberlynn might think twice after all of this. Maybe. We hope. But if nothing else, the world knows a little bit more about how bad Amber truly is. Because it's one thing to go online and call her names and say she's stupid and sort of, agree with a lot of the comments. It's another thing to share personal texts. And Emily had to be kind of convinced to take it to that next step. So no, she was not planning on talking to reaction channels the whole time.
Ever heard of in my life, belittle me, talk down to me. It was actually verbal, emotional, and mental abuse. And I have never.
Still no mention of physical. And just like Rachel said in her last video, that if she had been kicked, holy shit, that is all she would be talking about. Because that would be the first time, maybe, in her life, other than when she was a child, supposedly, that she was an actual victim of something. But that didn't spring in her mind because it didn't happen.
Been with someone that cruel in my life. Never. And finally, when I started reacting to those things, She would start recording me. I'm telling you, she would record me if I was naked. She'd record me. She would record my voice. Sometimes it
Probably for her safety. I would not be surprised at all if she was convinced that at some point she's going to have to make a police report and she's going to have to show them what you're doing to her. And I will say, though, you know, in those videos, Emily's probably playing the saint. Playing kind of like Amber is here, where she's like, oh, golly gee, I can't believe you're doing these things and saying these things to me. Because I don't doubt that Emily pushed Amber's buttons too, you know? And that's why I always say they both suck. But one of them just took it way too far.
was video. Sometimes it was just like voice messages. And it's like, it's almost as if she was purposely doing this. And then I think back more. I have seen Megan, her ex, naked, acting the same way I did, well, with Emily, because Emily filmed her.
I don't think comparing yourself to Megan, the one that held Emily at point, is doing what you think it's doing.
I just never like thought it was gonna be like, I never thought that I was gonna be a part of this bullshit. Like, genuinely. Like, she would constantly threaten to ruin my life on YouTube, just everything, just constant. And I'm just like,
That sounds familiar. Didn't Amber say the exact same thing to her? And that was just if Emily didn't call her back.
I just don't get it.
Yeah, she didn't get it, you guys. She did nothing. She was just sitting there. And Emily started just calling her names for no reason.
Anyways, it was very hard for me to get into her truck, and she would take videos of me getting into her truck. She liked that it was hard for me to do things.
Well, I would imagine that Amber was giggling and being silly the whole time too, because remember there was a video where Emily had gotten her a step stool to get up in the truck.
All right, so we had to get me this like step thingy because her truck is so tall. So getting into it is a challenge. So we ordered this on Amazon.
What height do you think you needed at this one?
We could try that height, yeah. Pretty color. Okay.
Sturdy. As it creaks when I step on it.
Oh my gosh, if it creaks when you step on it, what's it gonna do when I step on it? These are literally what I've been using, which works pretty well, but they're very heavy. Hello, this is me up from in the truck. I used it. It made a little creak noise, but we're good, I think.
So I thought there was video of her getting up in the truck, and maybe there is somewhere, but I mean, just listen to the way she's talking about it. And it's clear that Amber's just sort of flippant about the whole thing, you know, just sort of like, yeah, I made a creak and I got up in the truck and it's real hard and stuff. So I imagine that while she was trying to get up, she was probably giggling and being silly too. I mean, and it could very well be that Emily was laughing at her, but I can also see Amber just playing along.
And that's the person you guys are like rooting for.
We're not rooting for her. We're just taking in the information that she's giving us and realizing who you really are.
I could not get into Emily's truck without that fucking footstool. I vlogged it, right? You guys saw me vlog it. It was a mint footstool. I could not get into her truck without it. To punish me. To punish me one time, she left it at home. She left it at home.
So she says it's to punish her. Now, again, could that be the case? Maybe. I mean, maybe Emily said, you've been bad, so I'm leaving it at home. Or they were in a fight and tempers were flaring and they were arguing and screaming and Emily just left it at home. And so when they get to wherever they're going and she needs to get in the truck again, Emily's like, I left it at home. You're on your own. And Amber's like, you did this to punish me. You did that on purpose. Because in Amber's mind, it was a punishment. But she's not looking at the gray area. So, I mean, again, could it have been on purpose? Probably. But did Emily say it was for punishment? I doubt it. And it is far more likely that they were both just yelling at each other and Emily wasn't really thinking about, hey, I need to make sure I have the step stool so that this piece of shit can get back in my truck later. All she was thinking was just, I wish she would shut up. But we weren't there, so we don't know.
Punish me. And if it was me doing those things, people would be like, that's abuse. If it was anyone else who went through this, people would be like, that's fucked up. But since there's a bunch of fucking trolls, you guys think it's funny.
It's not funny. Nobody is saying it's funny. The problem is you are not understanding that we have years and years of context as to who you are. We have years and years and years of you lying and manipulating and twisting the truth and torturing your partners to get what you want. So, yeah, if anybody else went through it, we would probably take their word for it. But you have proven that your word is worth jack shit. And so when you say something like she left the stool at home as punishment, we know what kind of language you use, and we know how you jump to conclusions, and we know how you twist things to make yourself look like the victim. And so when we hear that, we're like, I don't think that's what happened. Because of context, because we know you. We know what you're capable of. But if Beck came online and said, Amber left something at home that I needed as punishment, we would probably take their word for it, because we know that that's something you're capable of doing. Now, is Emily capable of doing that? Maybe. And if you have proof that she's capable of doing something like that, then show us. But as of right now, the only proof that you've shown, as I've said, is that she reacts to you in a kind of vulgar way. But you haven't shown what she's reacting to. So there's no real context we can use. All we can use is what we know about you, because you can't show us any tangible proof that she's as bad as you're saying. All you've shown so far is that she is as bad as we already knew she was.
All of this, like Emily going to like each reaction channel and like all of this stuff, like this is great. Like send me all the proof, folks. I know a lot of you have been doing that for me, so I appreciate you.
Yeah, it's great. I'm sure it's great, Amber.
And any sort of screenshot that is very defamation-like, any sort of screenshot that people are saying that I killed Rarity, etc., please send that over to me on Instagram. I would love that. Thank you.
That's not defamation. We are using the evidence that we have gathered or we've found to come to a conclusion. You can refute it, but that is not defamation. Unfortunately for you, we can say that all we want, because most of us are smart enough to say, we don't know for sure. All we can do is use the evidence that we have and make an educated guess. And it seems as though that is the case. And I would say that she likely just kind of forgot about Rarity. Like maybe let her out and then forgot that she let her out and went back because she was obsessing about Emily so much. But the problem is the timing is so suspicious. It just happened right at the moment that she needed to pull out all the stops to get Emily's attention.
Reaction channel that is talking about this as if Emily is the right one and that I'm lying and I abused her. I need you guys to send that over to me as well. I'll also be doing my research. But I would love the help, 100%.
Like I said at the beginning, she thinks that by admitting she did something wrong, she is saying that Emily is all right and she's all wrong. But that's not the case. Nobody is saying that Emily is completely innocent in all this. But Amber doesn't do nuance. She doesn't understand it. And we have the texts where you change your story several times, but you do admit to grabbing her. And you admit to her ending up on the floor, although you change your story about how that happened several times too. And so there's actual evidence of you being the abuser.
As if Emily is the right one and that I'm lying and I abused her. I need you guys to send that over to me as well. I'll also be doing my research. But I would love the help, 100%. If you have a Venmo, I can send you over some money as well for helping.
She's offering to pay people to send her videos and screenshots, I guess, of reaction channels saying that Emily is in the right and that Amber abused her. First of all, what does she think that's going to do? Even if that's what all the reaction channels are saying, which, again, they're not. None of us are saying that Emily is 100% in the right. We're just saying Amber needs to admit what she's done. But I don't know what she thinks she's going to do with that information. Does she think a lawyer is going to see that and be like, I think we've got a case? Shut up.
Because shit's about to go down.
Oh.
And
It's about to go down.
this is gonna be a new era.
Oh.
This is gonna be a new era.
She's coming after you, Emily. Yeah, you go get her, Amber. Like, what do you think you're gonna do? What does I want to know what's going through that little pea brain of hers right now. You know, she's sitting here thinking, I'm gonna sue her for showing evidence of things that I did. Good luck with that.
And it just goes to show what these reaction channels are. Because the Angle, and Jordy and everyone else thought that Emily was an M word, which I never thought that, will never think that, so don't ever come for me when it comes to that. But they thought she was the most vile, disgusting piece of trash. And now, they're literally on her clit.
First of all, gross. Also, Jordy and the Ankle, which, by the way, how do you know what they're saying? Again, they aren't saying that Emily is perfect, that they love Emily. But what we have found out is that Emily might not be quite as bad as we thought, and we have found out that you're even worse than we thought. So I know to you, it feels like we are praising Emily, but it's just because we're not praising you. The scales that determined the lesser of two evils shifted.
I'm like literally appalled. Like, where are the morals at? Like, where are the morals? Where are the morals?
Are you serious right now? Really? Gaslight Lynn, Manipulation Lynn, Nail Marks Lynn, Conveniently Disappearing Rarity Lynn, Body Slam Tripping on the Rug, How come you pushed me Lynn,
How come you pushed me?
is asking other people about their morals? Really? You want to go there? Are you sure? I don't think you do. And it's crazy because she's basically saying that once you make a determination about somebody, once you make up your mind about somebody, that's it. You have to think of them in that way forever. There's something about a gray area that Amber just doesn't get. And isn't she the queen of two things can be true, right? Isn't that like her shtick? Two things can be true. We can think Emily sucks and also think you suck more. Two things can be true.
My jaw is on the floor.
Oh,
like, genuinely speaking. My jaw is on the floor. And the way that I'm getting treated because of this, the harassment right there. So all of you guys, I'm going to be screenshotting because you guys are proving my case more and more. These crash outs I have on live stream, also more evidence that my mental health is fucked. Fucked because of this.
So that's basically like if somebody got caught on To Catch a Predator, right? They were on that show with Chris Hansen being a kitty diddler, then went out and said, the way I'm being treated because of this, and those of you who are speaking in a public forum, like the chat room, that you're paying to speak in, usually, and people are saying what I did, that's harassment, and I'm screenshotting all that stuff. I can't believe you would do that to me. Yeah, people can report on bad behavior, and then people can react to that bad behavior, and then the people that find out about it can use public forums to tell you how they feel about the behavior that they have seen the evidence for. This is not some amazing, crazy thing that you have stumbled upon. That's just sort of the way things have always worked. Bad actors get called out, and then people react to it.
This is actually in full support of what I need. Emily, you're screwed. And I know you're watching because you are obsessed with me. You're obsessed with the reaction channels.
She said, Emily, you're screwed. I think she really thinks she's going to sue Emily for defamation. This is so entertaining, you guys. This is so dumb. She went from sad victim Lynn to righteous fury and lawyer Lynn. I'm coming to get you.
With the forums, she has some fake fucking names. She's a part of all the forums. Fuck off. Like, genuinely speaking, fuck off. You are creepy as hell. Like, you like your women 1,000+. You like them breathing on a fucking breathing tube, and when you can't walk type deal, that's what makes your pussy wet. You need help.
Wait, I thought she was with you, and like, you said that the stuff you guys did together was great. What are you saying about yourself? I mean, she knows she's fat, but like, come on.
Defamation, nothing. That is the truth. That is what I lived in, being your girlfriend.
Okay. Does she think that's like catching her red-handed? And like, that's... Nobody cares, right? Wait, like, yeah, it's gross. And Emily's weird, dude. Emily's weird and creepy and gross. We know. Like, that's not the problem here.
Les eat, am I right?
Oh, Les eat, yeah. That was probably one of the better proofs or pieces of evidence that we had that Emily was a feeder. And of course, the pictures with her fiance and stuff. Like, I mean, there was a lot of evidence. But I mean, at this point, like, we know.
You have fucked with the wrong one. I let so much shit slide in the past. I've let everything fucking slide in the past. But
I would love to see her conversation with a lawyer and her trying to explain what she's suing for, because it's basically just going to be her saying, she treated me so bad. She called me names and stuff. Look at this text where she said, you're a cunt. Like, now sue, please. Money, please.
Money, please.
But this ain't gonna be it. Because you were there. I was there. We both know the fucking truth. You're making thousands of people believe something that isn't real. And for that, you're now screwed. You are now screwed. And you are lucky because you genuinely don't know how to keep your mouth shut. You're lucky that I do. You're lucky that I do. You're lucky.
Yeah, Amber is known for keeping her mouth shut. That is one of the few things about Amberlynn that most people know, is she is very good about keeping her mouth shut. Okay. So Emily, you better watch out.
This is all I've said. You're lucky this is all I've said. Is this threatening? No, actually, it's not. Because I know that's what people say. You're a terrible person. Imagine an ex literally abusing you and then now threatening your literal life. Like my livelihood, my everything. I want to know that. How would that make you feel? How would that make you feel?
I mean, if they came out and told the truth and showed evidence and showed texts, I would be like, damn, I suck. I'm way worse than I thought I was. I got some work to do on myself. Maybe I should see a therapist. That's what I would do.
Like, I showed literal screenshots of her calling me the most awful names out of genuinely no. Like, you guys sending me all this money, like, thank you.
Again, yeah, and that sucks. We know that she said mean things, but you didn't show what caused all that, right? You didn't show the whole context. And to be fair, Emily showed like one situation, but she showed the whole situation. She showed every part of that conversation. And it was very clear that at least in that situation, you were an aggressor and refusing to admit or take accountability for it. So that's what we have to go by. Emily has shown a full situation. You will not, or at least have not, but she really thinks that name calling is the worst thing somebody can do. Guys, I don't care what I did, which actually she said that in her last live, one of her last lives. She said, I don't care what I did when I was hurting.
I don't care what I did while hurting. I don't care.
So apparently you can just go off somebody and then the judge will say, I mean, were you hurting? Because if you were hurting, it's fine. And you better believe I'm going to go back and talk about that live, because holy shit, what a thing to say. And that was just one of the many wild things she said during that live. She's like, I don't care what I did. She called me a name. You guys, she called me a name. What am I supposed to do? Not push her down?
How come you pushed me?
All right, thought so. Yeah, Emily, I wouldn't share that video if I were you. Ooh, I would not share that video if I were you. I would not share that video if I were you.
She's obviously trying to scare Emily into not sharing the video. She is desperate for that video not to be released. And I think it's partly because she's partially naked, but I think it's mostly because she knows how bad it will make her look. But, I mean, Emily could just release the audio or just blur the partially naked bits, you know? Because I think she's insinuating that it would be like revenge porn. And I think it would be, because even if somebody's not fully nude, I think it would still count. Or at least it would be close enough that it wouldn't be worth the risk. But again, audio would be just fine.
I don't care about blocking her because like her little bullshits that she sends me, like is genuinely helping the case. So now that she's hearing me say all this stuff, she's probably never gonna message me again, which pop off because I have chosen to literally cut all ties. I told her we are never speaking again, and she.
I mean, I'm sure that she's said that before. I think they probably both have, but Amber's not gonna actually cut Emily off. We saw the call logs.
Never speaking again, and she sent a message back. But I told Rachel about the hospital, like blah blah blah, trying to make excuses. I'm not responding.
Trying to make excuses for what? I think she was just saying, just so you know, I told Rachel about the hospital. And I told her that there was nothing. Like, people know that your hospital trip was bullshit. I think that's what she was saying. Man, her grasp on reality is tenuous at best.
I don't give a fuck when you told her. I don't care. You are unhinged to sit there and do that to someone that you supposedly love. Like literally doing that, while asking to see my fucking belly and my lymphedema legs. Fuck off. You're crazy.
And you were sending like pics of your lymphedema legs? Like, why did you not see the red flags? And we know that that's probably true because in the texts that we saw from Rachel's video, Amber said, you cuddled my leg for 2 minutes or however long. And gross.
Like she was obsessed with my body, bro. That's all it was.
Yeah, we all knew that all along. In fact, from the very beginning, from the moment you met Emily, all the reaction channels were telling you she doesn't give a shit about you. She just wants your body. Amber lives in Delulu land, man. And she won't listen to anything reaction channels say because she's too stubborn for that. And then she acts like she came to this conclusion, like she had the epiphany, like, yeah, we all knew.
I am the fucking victim in this. This time I am, you guys. I'm sorry to fucking break it to you. This time I fucking am.
Well, and she's got that look after she says it that is the telltale Amberlynn putting on a show face, you know? Like, look at the look on her face after she gets done saying
Fucking
it.
break it to you. This time I fucking am.
That I'm pretending to be serious. Look. But again, I reiterate, when were you not the victim? Because you have always acted like the victim. So I would love to know when you think you were not the victim.
You guys did not like her a year ago when I was showing love. But all of a sudden, okay, you know what? I'll have to repeat myself 1,000 fucking different times. Like,
yeah, and again, she just doesn't understand nuance. She doesn't understand two things can be true. We don't like her. That's what she doesn't get. We don't like either of them. But for one person, we have years and years and years of evidence of her treating people like crap, and we're now finding out it's worse. For the other person, we have a year or two of evidence that hints that she's pretty weird and gross and creepy, and so we're not real big fans of her, but, I mean, she's weird and gross and creepy, you know? Like, we don't like her, but she's no Amberlynn Reid. So I think I'm gonna end it there, and I'm gonna still go back to the other live streams, like I said, because there were some moments in those, and I had just kind of skimmed through, and there were a handful of things that she said that I was like, she has bought a condo and moved into Delululand. So I'll get to those here pretty quick. Right now, things are really busy with cheer and basketball and work and just life. So I'm gonna get to these as quickly as I can, but yeah, what a weird time in Girl World. And just what is going on with her mind? Like, you know, most people, I try to see things from their perspective. Even if I don't agree with them, I can at least understand where they're coming from. But Amber is so detached from reality that her thought process, or lack thereof, is just foreign to me. Her only thought, her thought process begins and ends with, I'm not the bad guy. And whatever actions she needs to take to get to that conclusion, or at least to try to convince us of that conclusion, she will take them. Even if it makes no sense, even if she says one thing 1 second and then the next second she contradicts it, doesn't matter. In her mind, the only thing that matters is just the conclusion. And we can see through it pretty easily. But anyway, I appreciate you guys so much. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.